President Obama addressing a forum on U.S. policy in the Middle East. This comes amid tense relations between Washington and Israel over a recent nuclear deal with Iran.
It is precisely because of the international sanctions and the coalition that we were able to build internationally that the Iranian people responded by saying we need a new direction in how we interact with the international community and how we deal with this sanctions regime. And that's what brought President Rouhani to power.
Molly Hinneberg now live in Washington with more. Hi, Molly.
Hi, Arthel. President Obama tried to answer some of his critics today, the Prime Minister of Israel among them, who have said the U.S. is making a big mistake, expecting that Iran will verifiably halt its nuclear program in exchange for an easing of international sanctions. The president says that's why this is an interim deal. And he says Iran will not have a lot of, quote, room to hide the ball when it comes to nuclear development.
It is important for us to test that proposition during the next 6 months, understanding that while we're talking, they're not secretly improving their position or changing circumstances on the ground inside of Iran. And if at the end of 6 months it turns out that we can't make a deal, we're no worse off. And in fact, we have greater leverage with the international community to continue to apply sanctions and even strengthen them.
But Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who met with Secretary of State John Kerry earlier this week, says the deal struck in Geneva, Switzerland, goes too easy on Iran and weakens the international sanctions that were having an impact.
I have expressed my concern since Geneva that the sanctions would begin to unravel, and I think steps must be taken to prevent further erosions of sanctions.
Meanwhile, in Iran today, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani spoke at a university in Tehran and indicated that breaking the, quote, ominous and oppressive sanctions is as important as enriching uranium. Rouhani said, quote, centrifuges should spin, but the lives of people and the economy also need to spin. Iran has agreed in this 6-month interim deal to allow greater access for United Nations nuclear inspectors and to cap the level of uranium it can enrich. Arthel?
Molly Hinneberg, thank you very much for that report, Molly.